There are people who move through chaos like water through cone-hurried, unbothered, untouched by the fever of the world. While others shout, they listen. While others panic, they pause. Their presence feels like shade on a burning day. You might wonder if they feel less, if they care less, if something inside them is simply missing. But that isn't it. Calmness is not the absence of feeling. It is the presence of something else, something built quietly over time, beneath the surface, where no one else can see. It is not a gift. It is not luck. It is a psychology, a way of seeing, a way of being that most people never learn because they were never taught that peace is a practice, not a personality. Calmness is not what most people think it is. That is not silence. It is not detachment. It is not the absence of emotion or the numbness that comes from giving up. Calmness is a structure and internal architecture built carefully, quietly, over years of learning how to hold the weight of the world without collapsing under it. When you watch someone who is always calm, you are watching someone who has learned to create space between stimulus and response, between what happens and what they do about it. That space is everything. It is where reaction dies and choice is born. Most people live without that space. Something happens, and they respond immediately. Anger, fear, defensiveness, panic. The emotional wave crashes over them, and they are swept into it before they even realize what has occurred. But the calm person stands at the shore. They feel the wave, they see it coming, but they do not dive in. They observe it, they let it pass. And then, only then, do they decide what to do. This is not coldness. It is not indifference. It is mastery. Psychologists call this emotional regulation, the ability to manage and modulate one's emotional state in response to external circumstances. But that clinical term does not capture the lived experience of it. The calm person does not suppress their feelings. They do not pretend the wave isn't there. They simply refuse to let it control them. They have learned, often through great pain, that reacting in the heat of emotion rarely leads anywhere good. Neuroscience shows us why this works. The prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for rational thought, planning, and decision-making, requires time to engage. When we react instantly, we are operating from the amygdala, the ancient part of the brain designed for survival, for fight or flight. The calm person has trained themselves to pause long enough for the prefrontal cortex to come online, long enough to think, long enough to choose. But there is more to it than biology. Calm people see emotions differently. Where others see threats, they see information. Where others see enemies, they see wounded people. They understand that most anger is fear, most cruelty is pain. Most chaos is a cry for control in a world that feels uncontrollable, and so they do not take things personally. They do not absorb the emotional state of everyone around them. They recognize that other people's storms are not theirs to carry. This is a profound psychological shift. It requires what therapists call differentiation, the ability to remain yourself in the presence of others, to hold your own emotional center even when everyone around you is losing theirs. It is a quiet form of strength that is often mistaken for weakness, because it does not announce itself. It does not fight back. It does not need to prove anything. The calm person has also made peace with uncertainty. This is perhaps the deepest root of their steadiness. Most anxiety, most panic, most frantic energy comes from the need to control what cannot be controlled: the future, other people, outcomes, loss. The calm person has learned to live in the reality of not knowing. They have accepted that life is uncertain, that control is an illusion, that all we ever have is this moment and the choice of how we meet it. This does not mean they do not care. It means they care differently. They care deeply, but without attachment to specific results. They do what they can, and then they let go. They understand that peace is not found in making everything turn out right. It is found in being okay even when things fall apart, and so they become a presence others are drawn to, a calm in the storm, a steadiness that does not waver, not because they are unaffected, but because they have built something inside themselves that cannot be shaken by the outside world. They have created a home within a place of stillness that travels with them wherever they go. This is the architecture of calmness. It is built brick by brick, breath by breath, choice by choice. It is not a gift. It is a discipline, and it changes everything. Calmness is not born. It is forged. There is a myth that some people are simply born peaceful, that their temperament arrived fully formed, a genetic gift wrapped in serenity. But when you sit with those who carry deep calm, when you listen to their stories, you discover something else. You discover that calmness is almost always a response to chaos, a survival strategy, a lesson learned in the hardest classroom there is. Many calm people grew up in homes where emotional storms were constant, where voices rose without warning, where moods shifted like weather, unpredictable and dangerous, and in that environment they learned something crucial. Their own reaction made things worse. Crying brought more anger, yelling brought punishment, showing fear invited cruelty. And so they learned to go still, to become small and quiet, to watch and wait and say nothing until the storm passed. This is not the calmness of peace. This is the calmness of survival. But over time, something shifts. What began as a defense mechanism becomes a skill. The child who learned to regulate their emotions in order to stay safe becomes the adult who can regulate their emotions in any situation. The nervous system that was trained to stay calm under threat learns to stay calm under pressure. The mind that learned to observe without reacting becomes a mind that sees clearly when others are blinded by emotion. Psychologists call this post-growth a phenomenon where people who endure hardship develop strengths they would not have otherwise possessed. It does not mean the trauma was good. It means the person found a way to transform pain into power, chaos into clarity, wounds into wisdom. But not all calmness comes from trauma. Some comes from modeling. There are children who grow up watching a parent remain steady through crisis, a mother who does not panic when the money runs out, a father who does not rage when plans fall apart, a grandparent who speaks softly even when the world is screaming. These children absorb calmness the way others absorb anxiety. They learn that it is possible to feel deeply and still respond gently. They learn that emotional intensity does not require emotional chaos. Attachment theory teaches us that children internalize the emotional regulation of their caregivers. If a child is soothed when distressed, they learn to soothe themselves. If they see adults navigate conflict without destruction, they learn that conflict is survivable. The calm adult often had a calm witness, someone who showed them, not through words but through presence, that it is possible to live differently. But then there are those who chose calmness deliberately, who reached a breaking point and decided that the cost of reactivity was too high, who looked at their own patterns, the anger that destroyed relationships, the anxiety that stole sleep, the panic that paralyzed, and said, there has to be another way. These are the people who turn to meditation, to therapy, to philosophy, to practice, who study their own minds like scientists, who notice the moment before the reaction and learn to live there, who understand that calmness is not something you find, but something you build, one conscious choice at a time. The Buddhist tradition speaks of equanimity, a balanced state of mind that remains steady in the face of both pleasure and pain, praise and blame, gain and loss. This is not indifference, it is clarity, the recognition that all things are temporary, that all emotions will pass, that clinging to what we want or resisting what we fear only causes suffering. The calm person has glimpsed this truth. They have felt it in their bones, and they have decided to live accordingly. Neuroscience supports this. Research shows that meditation and mindfulness practices literally change the brain, strengthening the prefrontal cortex, reducing amygdala reactivity, increasing gray matter in areas associated with emotional regulation and perspective. Calmness rewires the nervous system. It becomes easier over time. The more you practice stillness, the more stillness becomes your default. But here is the paradox. Calmness born from pain is different from calmness chosen through practice. And yet both arrive at the same place. Both understand that peace is not found in controlling the world, but in releasing the need to control it. Both have learned that reaction is optional. Both have discovered the space between what happens and what we make it mean. Some people became calm because life gave them no other choice. Others became calm because they realized they had one. Either way, they arrived. And in arriving, they discovered something most people spend their whole lives searching for: a way to be okay, no matter what is happening around them. This is where calmness comes from. Not from ease, but from endurance. Not from absence of feeling, but from depth of understanding. Not from being untouched by the world, but from learning how to hold the world without letting it break you. Calmness is not a shield. It is a foundation. That it does not protect you from feeling. It allows you to feel everything without being destroyed by it. It does not make life easier. It makes you capable of meeting life as it is. And in a world that demands constant reaction, constant noise, constant urgency, the calm person offers something rare: a reminder that it is possible to be still, to be present, to be whole, even when everything is falling apart. They are proof that peace is not a place you arrive at. It is a way you learn to walk.